Well, MGM Resorts International is still recovering today from what they call a cybersecurity issue. The problem impacting tens of thousands of people staying at their hotels.
Yeah, Sunny Sai in Vegas right now with the latest. So when did this first start, Sunny?
Scott and Natalie, the problem was first reported by MGM Monday morning, and as of this afternoon, they are still facing some issues. If you go to the MGM Resorts website, you'll see that it's still down and it's telling people to contact the hotels and their casinos directly.
Casinos are built to take your money. But what if I told you, in September 2023, one of the biggest casino chains in the world, MGM Resorts, lost over $600 million, not at the tables, but to a simple phone call. A group of hackers managed to shut down an entire casino empire using nothing but social engineering. No guns, no getaway cars, just a deceptively clever scam that brought down $1 billion business overnight. Today, we unravel the MGM Casino cyber heist, how it happened, who was behind it, and what it means for the future of cybersecurity. MGM Resorts is one of the biggest names in the gambling industry, owning world-famous casinos like the MGM Grand, Bellagio, and Mandalay Bay. With billions in revenue, the company is a prime target for criminals looking for a massive payday. Casinos have some of the tightest security in the world. They have cameras watching every move, heavily guarded vaults, and layers of cybersecurity protecting customer and financial data. But in September 2023, all of that was breached by a single phone call. The attack didn't just disrupt operations, it sent shockwaves through the financial world. MGM's stock price plummeted, and the company faced a public relations nightmare as news of the breach spread globally. This wasn't just a hack, it was a wake-up call for the entire industry. MGM Resorts, a titan in the hospitality and gambling sector, operates over 30 properties worldwide, including iconic destinations like the MGM Grand in Las Vegas and the Bellagio, known for its stunning fountains. The company's reputation for luxury and security made it an unlikely victim of such a brazen attack. Casinos are designed to be fortresses, with physical and digital safeguards to protect against theft, fraud, and cyber attacks. Yet despite these measures, MGM fell victim to a scheme that exploited one of the most overlooked vulnerabilities in any organization: human trust. The breach occurred at a time when MGM was already under pressure to maintain its competitive edge in a rapidly evolving industry. The company had invested heavily in digital transformation, including mobile apps for hotel bookings, digital key cards, and cashless gambling systems. These innovations were meant to enhance the customer experience, but they also created new entry points for cybercriminals. The attack exposed the fragility of even the most advanced systems when human error is involved. This wasn't your typical cyber attack. No malware, no complex hacking tools. Instead, the criminals exploited human nature, and it worked flawlessly. The hackers, a group called ALPHV, also known as Black Cat, wanted to infiltrate MGM's internal systems. But instead of trying to break in through technical weaknesses, they did something much simpler. They called the MGM IT help desk and pretended to be a real MGM employee who was having trouble logging in. Using basic details found online, like the employee's name and job title, they convinced the help desk to reset their password and give them full access to MGM's systems. And just like that, the gates were wide open. This technique is called social engineering, manipulating people into breaking normal security procedures. It's surprisingly effective because it preys on trust and human error. In fact, according to cybersecurity experts, over 90% of successful cyber attacks start with some form of social engineering. The hackers didn't need to be tech geniuses. They just needed to sound convincing on the phone. The hackers' approach was deceptively simple, yet devastatingly effective. They began by scouring LinkedIn and other public platforms to gather information about MGM employees. Armed with names, job titles, and even details about the company's internal structure, They crafted a believable story to present to the IT help desk. The call was calm and professional, with the hackers posing as an employee who had forgotten their password and needed immediate access to complete an urgent task. The help desk, trained to assist employees quickly, fell for the ruse and granted the hackers access to MGM systems. This type of attack, known as a vishing, voice phishing, scam, highlights the growing sophistication of social engineering tactics. Hackers no longer need to write complex code or exploit software vulnerabilities. They can achieve their goals by exploiting the natural tendency of people to trust and help others. In this case, the hacker's success was a stark reminder of how easily human error can undermine even the most robust cybersecurity measures. Within minutes, the hackers had full control over MGM's internal networks. What followed was a nightmare scenario for the company. Slot machines shut down, hotel check-ins failed, digital keycards stopped working. Even the casino's internal payroll and booking systems were completely locked out. Guests couldn't get into their hotel rooms. People couldn't check in. The casinos were losing millions of dollars per hour because their gambling machines weren't working. It was absolute chaos. At first, MGM didn't realize what was happening. They thought it was a technical glitch. But by the time they figured out they were under attack, it was too late. Cybersecurity experts were stunned by the scale of the attack. MGM systems were supposed to be state-of-the-art, with multiple layers of protection. But the hackers had bypassed all of it with a single phone call. The chaos extended beyond MGM's properties. News of the breach spread quickly, causing panic among customers and investors alike. Social media was flooded with posts from frustrated guests, and MGM's stock price took a nosedive as investors worried about the long-term financial impact. The company's reputation, built on decades of trust and reliability, was suddenly in jeopardy. Now that the hackers had control over MGM systems, they made their move. They demanded a ransom, pay up, or they would destroy data, leak customer information, and keep the entire casino system shut down indefinitely. MGM had two choices: pay the hackers and hope they regained control, or fight back and risk losing everything. Paying the ransom is always a tough decision. On one hand, it might get your systems back online quickly. On the other hand, it funds criminal activity and encourages more attacks. MGM refused to pay, and that decision cost them dearly. The hackers' ransom demand was delivered via an encrypted message, threatening to release sensitive customer data and permanently destroy MGM systems if their demands were not met. The amount demanded was not disclosed publicly, but sources suggest it was in the tens of millions of dollars. MGM faced a moral and financial dilemma: pay the ransom and potentially fund future attacks, or refuse and risk even greater losses. In the end, MGM chose not to pay, a decision that was both praised and criticized. While the company's stance sent a strong message to cybercriminals, it also meant that MGM had to shoulder the full cost of recovering from the attack. The decision highlighted the ethical and practical challenges that companies face when dealing with ransomware attacks. MGM's refusal to pay meant they had to fix the damage on their own. But that took weeks, and every single day that their systems were down, they were losing tens of millions of dollars. In total, MGM lost an estimated $600 million from this cyber attack, making it one of the biggest cyber heists in history. Even worse, personal data of millions of guests, including credit card details and passport information, may have been stolen and sold on the dark web. Cybersecurity analysts believe that the stolen data could be worth millions on underground forums where criminals buy and sell sensitive information. The financial loss was staggering, but the damage to MGM's reputation was even worse. Customers began to question whether their data was safe, and lawsuits started piling up. The financial toll of the attack was unprecedented. MGM's daily revenue from gambling, hotel bookings, and other services ground to a halt, costing the company an estimated $8.4 million per day. The total loss of $600 million included not only lost revenue, but also the cost of investigating the breach, restoring systems, and implementing new security measures. Additionally, MGM faced potential fines and legal fees as regulators and customers sought accountability for the breach. The reputational damage was equally severe. Customers who had trusted MGM with their personal information felt betrayed, and many vowed to take their business elsewhere. The breach also raised questions about the broader security practices of the hospitality and gambling industries, prompting calls for stricter regulations and greater transparency. The attack was carried out by a group called ALPHV, also known as Black Cat. They are one of the most dangerous cybercrime gangs in the world, specializing in ransomware attacks against big corporations. But here's the shocking part. They didn't do this alone. Reports suggest that ALPHV partnered with a group of teenage hackers called Scattered Spider, a loose network of cybercriminals who specialize in social engineering scams. These aren't computer geniuses writing code in a dark basement. These are young scammers using nothing but confidence tricks to manipulate employees into handing over critical access. Investigators found chat logs where the hackers bragged about their success, calling the MGM attack easy money. It's a chilling reminder of how vulnerable even the biggest companies can be. ALPHV, also known as Black Cat, is a notorious ransomware-as-a-service group that has targeted organizations worldwide. The group is known for its sophisticated tactics and ability to evade law enforcement. However, what made the MGM attack particularly shocking was the involvement of Scattered Spider, a group of young hackers who specialize in social engineering. These individuals, many of whom are in their late teens or early 20s, have gained notoriety for their ability to manipulate employees into granting access to corporate systems. The collaboration between ALPHV and Scattered Spider highlights the evolving nature of cybercrime. While traditional hackers rely on technical skills, groups like Scattered Spider focus on psychological manipulation, making them particularly dangerous. After weeks of chaos, MGM finally regained control of their systems. But the damage was done. The company lost hundreds of millions in revenue, lawsuits were filed, and customer trust took a major hit. But here's the real problem. This attack wasn't unique. Days after MGM's breach, another major casino, Caesars Entertainment, was hit by a similar attack. But unlike MGM, Caesars paid the ransom, a staggering $15 million. This raises a big question. Should companies pay cybercriminals to regain control? Or does paying ransoms just encourage more attacks? Paying ransoms is a short-term solution, but it fuels a vicious cycle. Every time a company pays, it sends a message to hackers that these attacks are profitable. The aftermath of the MGM attack was a sobering reminder of the growing threat of cybercrime. While MGM eventually restored its systems, the company faced a long road to recovery. Lawsuits from customers and shareholders piled up, and regulators launched investigations into the breach. The attack also prompted other companies in the industry to reevaluate their cybersecurity practices, with many investing in employee training and advanced threat detection systems. The attack on Caesars Entertainment, which occurred just days after the MGM breach, underscored the vulnerability of the hospitality and gambling sectors. Caesars' decision to pay the ransom sparked a heated debate about the ethics and practicality of negotiating with cybercriminals. While paying the ransom allowed Caesars to quickly regain control of its systems, it also raised concerns about the long-term consequences of funding criminal activity. The MGM heist is a wake-up call for businesses everywhere. As technology advances, so do the tactics of cybercriminals. Companies are spending billions on cybersecurity, but as this attack shows, the weakest link is often human error. Experts say that training employees to recognize social engineering scams is just as important as investing in firewalls and encryption. From phishing emails to fake phone calls, hackers are constantly finding new ways to exploit human psychology. And until companies address this vulnerability, attacks like the MGM heist will keep happening. The truth is, no system is completely secure. No matter how advanced your technology is, one moment of human weakness can bring it all crashing down. The MGM attack highlighted the need for a holistic approach to cybersecurity. While technological solutions like firewalls and encryption are essential, they are not enough on their own. The MGM casino cyber heist proved one thing. The biggest security weakness isn't technology, it's people. No matter how strong a company's defenses are, one well-placed phone call can bring down an entire empire. And as cybercrime continues to evolve, one thing is certain: this won't be the last big cyber heist we see. The MGM heist serves as a cautionary tale for businesses of all sizes. In an increasingly digital world, the threat of cybercrime is ever present, and no organization is immune.